Hi, little gay people in my phone. I have a very shocking story to tell you. It is a story of how I got indoctrinated into whiteism fresh off the boat from Africa. And yes, if you're not ready to hear that, if you don't feel like following me anymore, this is just a story I tell to let everybody know that I have seen the other side of this whole political argument that argues that trans people are in fact not human beings worthy of respect. And yeah, I chose to get out of that because that's obviously untrue. They're called trans people for a reason. Anyway, let me start from the beginning. When I was trapped in Ghana by my parents, and told, that, the date of me coming home was basically up in the air and nobody fucking knew when I was coming home, right? Like, I was forced to wear a hijab, otherwise known in Hausa as a mayafi, which is a fucking nightmare. Look at my hair. It's blatantly very loud and very big and has human hair in it as well as fake hair. Hair extensions are basically haram in Islam. Okay, so is doing your eyebrows and nails. These are all things that I enjoyed doing very much. My femininity was shat upon, and I recall one day a time that I tried to feel like I was in New Zealand again and everything was normal. So to be a bit delulu, I wore a full face of makeup in my house, put my hair down and lay it on my shoulders in my house, and wore a purple dress to cook in my house. This was done for no one except my benefit. I just wanted to feel like the little girl who had been watching Skins and had been on the wrong side of the tracks in terms of poverty and making shitty decisions to do things like smoke, you know. Young girls in New Zealand, another sidebar, are socialized to believe, like many young girls in the West, that it's a better idea to be an adult and to be grown and to be fast and to have sex really early because it's better to be an adult than a kid. How wrong I was. Anyway, so, this is the kind of family I live in, just to give you a picture. So, not only was I forced to wear a mayafi, I was very much enforced to stay within my gender role. I couldn't, jump over the wall, to get into my house because my family was busy sleeping and couldn't hear me banging on the gate at some fucking random wee hour because I had to stand on my feet doing fucking hair extensions for fucking people. Okay? Like, um, I was forced to cook a lot of the time. You know, I would make up excuses about how long my period was. And sometimes my period would actually be that long because I didn't want to pray. I told my cousin in confidence that I'd become an atheist for a minute there, you know. And then I began to pray because I realized every time I said I wanted to go pray, people would leave me alone for at least 5 minutes. And I'd really drag out the prayer, doing the du'as at the end and whatever, you know? So, not only was I forced to stay within a gender that, I did not, within gender roles that I did not fully identify with. I was in a really conservative country that was developing, and everybody is either Christian or Muslim. There are no atheists. There's no one who's openly an atheist or anybody who's questioned the existence of God. I did not see a single trans woman in my time up until I was 18. I was 15 up until I was 18. So, with this lack of exposure to trans women during the formative years of my childhood in which I am able to conceive the world around me, I think, oh, okay, so a woman is somebody exclusively who bleeds, has breasts and has a vagina and all this other untrue shit, you know? Here comes the next bit. I discover The Whole Woman by Germaine Greer. Not only do I discover it, I understand it, and it feels like this old white lady is just cooking, It feels like she's just cooking. I'm snapping my fingers at everything she say because I don't deserve to be stuck in the fucking kitchen. What do you mean? I don't deserve to be stuck in the fucking kitchen. I deserve to wear makeup in my house. I deserve to be able to be a girl with her hair exposed, with her skin exposed, and I deserve respect. Women deserve the world and a bag of chips. She said men cannot be women. She was asserting this idea, which is false. False that, um, gender is a fixed thing, a fixed concept. And not only that, it's a performance too, but not in a trans friendly way. She said men cannot be women. Valerie Solanas also said in her book full of misandry, she said that trans women were men that wanted to escape being men, and therefore were the only acceptable type of man. This is my first introduction to feminism. I get on Tumblr. My Tumblr is a series of very gory pictures, black and white, because I'm a goth girl. I can't express that in this country because there are no goth clothes, no gloss stores, no Hot Topic, no black lipstick that I can wear and keep on due to the hotness and the humidity of the weather. Ghana is on the equator. It is extremely fucking hot. Okay? The temperatures, this is a sidebar, the temperatures are typically all year round what this summer just was. And I get on Tumblr and I look for feminism and I find this girl at the very top. Okay? This is a very popular lesbian Terf. Her name was Sarah at the time. I don't know if she still subscribes to these beliefs, but she was what I came to find out in future is that she was abusing her girlfriend, and I didn't know. I thought they were a happy couple. Anyways, me and Sarah start talking. I'm like, I fucking hate where I am. And I begin to believe that this white woman and her series of white friends actually want me to thrive and survive with my braids and be happy with who I am as a woman, you know? And I start talking to these white feminists more and more. And it seems like they want me to be involved in their feminism. And I'm like, okay, these are my friends. I'll bring some flavor to the group. No, whatever, no worries, Very much worries. I get to Australia. And then, I don't know, during the first week I'm here, I meet them in a little, that fucking lane full of cafes in Melbourne. I meet them there, you know. They're all a bunch of white women, and I am the only one squealing with excitement. They are all quiet and unseasoned, okay? They're like, wow, Yasmin's so excited to be here. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. Look, you're my girls, okay? I'm just like, I'll just bring a bit of flavor to the group. This has been many, many misguided black girls at the age of 18. So, being among these girls and having read and imbibed and seriously subscribed to the ideology of one Jermaine Greer, I think I understand. I don't think that there's an issue with saying that a trans woman isn't a woman, even though I look at the English sentence now and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking total nonsense, but that's me 8 years, 10 years in the future from when that was, that's what I think now. I think there's no bullying. There's no, oppression in the fact, in the fact that, trans ladies were born with penises and weren't raised like us, they weren't socialized female, So I keep thinking there's no issue with my beliefs, and these people who are yelling at me online are just disagreeing with me and don't know how to cope. That's fucking incorrect. In the Terf groups, there was this one fucking very volatile troll woman, okay? And not only that, she was just up my ass about how strongly I felt about cultural appropriation and braids and stuff like that, And yeah, they were in the turf groups, they were consistently posting about these bad egg trans women who apparently were sexual pedophiles and freaks, you know, like they just lumped the, like, you know, naturally occurring phenomena that is trans women into the box that all of them must be autogynephiles, you know, like, and an autogynephile, if you don't know, is somebody who dresses up as the opposite gender, you know, to feel a sense of sexual satisfaction. Yes, to feel a sense of sexual satisfaction. It's a fetish for them. So, like, apparently, according to, like, us, all trans ladies feel the need to, like, you know, present like us in order to get into our bathrooms and, like, make us feel unsafe, you know? So, you know, I'm just like, okay, you know? Like, people are saying transphobic a lot. It's not really hitting me, you know? Until I meet a trans man, okay? I won't say his name here, but he is pretty famous here, okay? A lot of the time, he's too busy to respond to my messages. He's a very big, like, you know, like, he's a very big, like, Australian acclaimed, like, very handsome model. He was my first actual crush, you know, on, like, somebody, like, with gender dysphoria. You know, I really value him. And this is when I began to meditate and get into tarot cards and really access the gifts that had been given to me. You know, like, let's sidebar Sagana for a moment. When I was 15, I discovered, like, you know, that I could have visions. Like, I had a vision of my cousin catching me smoking. Yes, this is an accurate conclusion to come to. When you are underage and you are taking drugs of any kind, like, you will be caught, okay? But how come I knew the outfit, the shoes he was wearing, how his toes looked, the look in his eyes, you know? How come I knew that? I fucking knew it somehow. So anyway, I get into tarot cards. Let's come back to when I am probably 20, 22, you know? And, like, one day, I'm meditating in my room. As usual, meditation has become my safe space because what it does to the hemispheres of the brain is actually wonderful, you know? Air is the best drug ever. You know, the element air, the ether, air is the best drug and the only one that humans should be putting in their body. Because let me tell you, I saw space. I saw God. I saw Shiva. I saw Ganesh. And I saw the laughing monkey god. And that was just during one time I meditated, y'all. Okay? And, okay, so I'm just meditating in my room in Collingwood. Just fucking chilling, enjoying my life, yada, yada, yada. My third eye looks to the left. I see this trans man's dysphoria. I have never seen anything more horrifying in my life. I am too scared that I will trigger somebody to the point of not being able to come back, you know, if I go into exactly what I saw. But what I knew was that he was haunted by the nature of his own body. And I couldn't fix that. And I was contributing to the fucking horror that he felt about his body by being a turf, you know, and I just felt so shit. I was crying, I was shaken, I couldn't even look at him like, you know, like everything was okay. So, you know what, I avoided my friend, even though we lived in the same home, you know. Please ignore my little brother yelling at his video game in the background, I'm sorry, you know. So, yeah, I see that, you know, and I speak to this trans lady the next day, and she's like, yeah, he's gonna be okay. I looked at her dead ass. I was like, what the fuck do you mean you experienced that day in, day out, and you're gonna be okay, and everybody's just yelling at you about how you're lying about who you say you are? I don't fucking think so, you know? But I still couldn't tell my friend. I still couldn't tell him. To this day, I haven't told him because I don't want to trigger my homie. Another time, we were, like, you know, chilling in my homie's bedroom, okay? This trans homie I'm talking about. We were chilling. I looked at him and I saw both of his spirits. He had two of them. It began to occur to me on a spiritual level that trans people are not lying about who they are. I stopped playing games. I also read a book called The Way of the Goddess. I do not remember the name of the author, but in The Way of the Goddess, she describes guardians to the portals of knowledge, okay? All of these beings are intersex, and imagine you are this close to enlightenment. You just need to prove why you're there and why you deserve it. And then you say to the fucking being that, like, you know, like, the being's identity is not valid. What do you think is going to happen to you in that moment? You will get thrown down from the moon. I don't want to imagine what kind of shit, like, would happen, you know, if you, like, pissed off one of the guardians to the portals of knowledge, okay? So, like, yeah, I began to understand on a spiritual level that trans people were saying who they're saying they were. You know, I was still in these Terf groups because I wasn't able to quickly discern, you know, my political identity and my political standpoint. How the hell am I going to explain to these scientifically based evil women that, like, you know, I've seen two spirits in a human being, I've seen somebody's dysphoria, you know, like, how am I going to explain that to them? I don't know what to think at this moment. So, in these Terf groups, they're consistently posting these bad egg trans women who apparently run around sexually assaulting kids. All manner of untrue bullshit to, like, you know, spread and fearmonger about trans women instead of us, like, you know, going and throwing Molotov cocktails at the men who made this whole patriarchy shit happen. Okay? Like, we're just hurting trans women. And I was just like, what? Because of the fact that I would chill in my house and there'd be trans people over and none of them would try and lay a finger on me without my consent. None of them were fucking weird in a sexual way. None of them even approached me trying to feel me up or any shit that a cis man would do. Yeah? So I was like, okay, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And then, you know, one particular day, I remember this so well. A woman in the Terf group, she was like, yeah, we're all here just to laugh and make fun of the trans. All these bitches, all these white women, they come up on that status and start laugh reacting and liking it. I didn't think that saying a trans woman was like that saying a trans woman wasn't a woman was bullying, but I knew I wasn't there for shit like that. That was hatred. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I defriended all my Terf friends. I got out of all the Terf groups. It was all gone. I left that shit, but I still didn't know what to think politically about trans women saying that they were women yet they had penises. I was like, what? You know? Like, so I got into, like, I spoke with my friend on, like, you know, Facebook on a public forum about, like, how, like, you know, feminine energies and masculine energies exist in a person. They're like, yo, yes, shut the fuck up. I'm like, okay. But it didn't stop me from thinking what I thought. A few, like, days after that, I run across an article that's like, okay, trans ladies have the same brains as cis women. I was like, okay, so, like, gender exists in the brain too? Because, like, we can pick up on different things than men. We have more sensitive bodies than men. I was like, okay, I learned that. Since then, I have gone to, like, learn about bell hooks and the negritas I actually should have been listening to, right? And, yeah, this all took me from the age of, like, 18 to about 22 that I unwittingly found myself part of a hate group because I have the privilege of being cis. Okay, that was a fucking, like, issue. I never thought trans women were rapists, but I did think it wasn't wrong to call them men. And now I'm just in the future and I've met so many trans chicks that I'm like, really? You're gonna look at cis, like, and like be like, that's a man? Like, no, honestly, I look at my trans girlfriends and I'm like, how could anybody ever call you a man? What in the shit is that? That's denying reality, because you look at some of these trans women. Look at some of these trans women and tell me you'll be able to differentiate them from me on basis of genitalia. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just imagine how stupid you look when you deny reality. Okay? I changed my opinion based on the new information. And, like, people don't seem to be able to do that, you know? A cis woman makes a mistake by trying to feed her baby and the milk is not expressing. That's an oopsie. A trans woman does it and she's a pedophile. I was like, yeah, I'm sick of you niggas, you know? Like, don't play in my face like that. I don't play that. You know, trans women are not pedophiles because they made a fucking oopsie by trying to feed their baby. What was he supposed to do? Like, what was she supposed to do? Like, let the baby starve? Like, dog, it's such a classic mistake for women to think that their baby won't bond with them unless they breastfeed them. You know, I used to subscribe to that belief as well. And, yeah, trans women and trans men and non-binary people, those are all a series of human beings, enough of which exist in the world that they could populate on their own the entire country of Russia. As we know, Russia is basically 50% of Asia. It's fucking massive. So, yeah, I don't have time for people who play games and don't think about what they believe in and don't want to see a new opinion. It's narrow minded, it's close minded, and I don't play that. Okay? I've seen it with my third eye and I've seen it with my human eyes, y'all. Yeah, yeah, I really regret being part of that hate group, you know. I really regret the fact that I couldn't go back in the past and tell myself that I was listening to the wrong women, you know. Yeah. So that's my story. You can ask me questions about it. You can DM me. It's been very long, but I hope this gets on Instagram. Anyways, I love all the little gay and the non-cis people and the anti-cis people in my phone. I really do. I love all of yous. Okay? I love all of yous. Okay? Please try and forgive me for like being gullible enough to believe that white feminists are my friends. Okay? Please forgive me. Alright. Peace out. This has been Black Madonna Psychic, aka Yasmin. Bye bye, little gay people in my phone.